Mr. Irontrader and TGIF. Okay, right now here NASDAQ futures are down about 270. Looks like you might have a red day. But let's just see how it all shakes out here by the end of the day and see if maybe it can recoup it like it did last week. Okay, we're going to take a look here at Bitcoin, at Ethereum, at gold, silver, crude oil, and natural gas. This video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation of buy, selling stock, by ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Alrighty, here we have Bitcoin, your daily and your weekly. Okay, so you can see here how we broke that key level. This is what we're watching right here, okay, on the downside, 99.90. Look at how we are way below it, okay? Now, we look at this 8-day. See how that 8-day crossed now over the 200-day? 21's coming on down. This is all waterfall situation until it's not, okay? So it has to be reversed. So right now, the trade is right lower unless we get a bottom candle. Okay, so right today, we made this low here of 96.95 level. What we're looking for right there is that a 96.780 level. Your next level is going to be right there of support. It's going to be right there at that 94.745. And then we come right to the top of this candle here. You're looking at 91.970 level. And then we can come all the way down here to this 89.20 level. Okay, very, very easily. Right? So when we look at here at your RSI, this is not near oversold yet. And same way with your MACD, this is getting towards the bottom, but this is not oversold situation. Okay. So now here on the upside, well, we got to really recoup this here, this level right here. Okay. So this is what we're really looking for right there, looking at that 98.615 level. Then we have to recoup this right here at that 99.90 level. That's going to be key. Then we can start heading up here like to today's high. We had 104.95. Then we have your 8-day at 101.932. And then we have your key 200-day at 104.218. And then so on. We have your 21-day, your 50-day. But right now we are in a downtrending situation, as you obviously see. High, lower high situation. And see how strong that 21-day is. See this double top situation? Came right on down here and look at it right back into it again. And look at this, how strong that 200-day was when it was back on the upside. Okay, so now this 8-day is going to be very, very strong because you can see here how once it broke through, where to go? It went to that catch-all, that 21-day. A lot of times we talk about catch-all like on the bottom, but it does the same thing when it's on the top. It provides that very, very strong resistance. Okay, so right now we got a big red candle. So let's just see if we can get right back up here. But really the key is we got to get right back up here until right here, this level right there is that, what are we looking at there? Yeah, right there at that 99.90 level. That's going to be very, very key. Now, here on a weekly basis, we still have an uptrending chart. Don't get me wrong here, okay? Because you got a low, higher low, and a higher low situation, okay? So, again, this really could come down to the 100-day and you still have an uptrending chart. But really, we lost that nice 50 estimate here so far, and that's really not good. Now, you can see last week it came right on down, came right down to that 99.90. A level that was a support level, and then it rallied right back up and it closed above that 50-day. Right now, not looking too good. But see what I pointed out is this 8-day. See how that 8-day crossed over that 21-day? Okay, that's never bullish. Okay, see, and there's the reaction of what you're going to get. So right now, don't just jump into this. Okay, don't just jump into this and say, okay, this is it, the low. This could go much lower. So what we're looking for here is just watch the bottom of this candle right here. Okay, this is what we're going to be looking for right there, is that 93.685 level. That could be next. Then we come to the top. That's that 89.20 level. Then we could venture down here to this 84.790. And then we have 83.190. And then we have your 100-day all the way down here at that 83.67. So just be a little patient with this. Now, for me, I trade the IBIT for long, mainly the BITX for long because that pays a real nice dividend. But right now, I've been trading the BITI, which is basically on the short side, because right now we just have a big dump here going on down in crypto. Okay, so right here, what we have is we're only sitting at 40. This has got a long ways to go. The same way with the green is over your red. So you got to be very, very patient with what you're doing here. The key is if we could get right back, at least back above that 99.90, then we could take it right back up to that 50-day. But let's see how the day shakes out. So don't have any opinion. Let's just trade the charts in both directions. Okay, let's take a look here now at Ethereum. All right, here we have Ethereum. Now, this is hanging in here a little bit better, okay? So what we're watching here is this is going to be the key level is that 3073, okay? 3073. Right below it, we had 3064. That's what we're going to be looking for here on a closing basis. You can see it's pretty much similar to Bitcoin. See how that 8-day rolled over? 21-day, 50-day, Everything is rolled over except that it hasn't crossed that 200-day as of yet. Okay, so bottom line, it really needs to hold that 3,064 level kind of a situation. Now, there's a gap right here. So next level would be right, look at the bottom of that candle at 29.25. Okay, that would be, and then we look at that fill at 28.53. So we have that gap, we have that fill. Then we can look to the left of the chart here. We're looking at 26.92, and then we can come up here at that. We'll look at that. Yeah, 26.92, and then we'll come up there at that 27.51 a level coming across here, right there, right there. Okay, and then just follow that gap, that fill. So everything you really need to know is sitting right here. Okay, so just watch that gap and that fill. Very, very key. Okay, very, very key. So that 27.91 and that 27.51, very, very crucial here on the closing basis. Now we start losing that. Well, then we can start coming right down to all these levels here until we retest that level all the way down here at that 23.44 level. But I say that's a long ways down. And we're not oversold, but we're getting towards that area the same way with your MACD. Now, on the upside, let me just bring her up here a little bit. Okay, now we have to get here is going to be resistant. It's going to be yesterday's low, looking at 31.54 level. Okay, then we'll come down to the bottom there at 32.02. We'll come to the bottom there at 32.56 level, and then we'll come right up to the 8-day at 33.70. Now, if you can get above all that, then we'll come up here at that 34.85 level, and then we work yourself all the way up 35.71 and work yourself back up to that 21-day. But right now, we got to see if this situation holds. Now, if it holds this situation, we could have a nice, good double bottom situation, and then we could take that higher. But again, watch this on a closing basis, 30.73 and that 30.64. Very, very key. Now, here we have on the weekly chart. Now, you can see here how we had this big double top situation, came right on down, and we're holding this 50-day and this 100-day on a closing basis. Now, this is going to be very crucial, 31.44 and at 30.55 level. If not, you got a big target down here, all the way down at that 24.57 at that 200-day. Okay, so again, just be a little bit patient with this. Now, this is not oversold. The green crossed over your red. That's like getting started, but just be a little bit patient. It's not as bad as what Bitcoin is selling off because it already broke support. This has not broken support as of yet. Okay, let's take a look here now at gold and silver. All right, here we have gold, here we have silver. Now, again, this is here was a, you can see this 8-day now it crossed over that 21-day, and that's going to provide very, very nice support level, okay? So, again, what we're really looking for is watch that 8-day at 40.96 and watch that right there at 21-day at 40.88, okay? So we have a little small crossover. That's going to provide very, very good support, okay? Now, I sold out of this yesterday because to me, I just thought it was going to run up a little bit faster. It had a really good run up here, but then once I see it where it lost that high, I said, no, I'm out. So I have no position in gold. I have no position in silver. Silver is another one here because we had this double top. See how it popped up, that 54.41? But what we're looking for is that 53.76. It popped up above that, but you notice where it closed right below that. Okay, so you got a double top situation, and now so far today we have this topping tail. So got to be a little bit careful with either of these. So I have no position in either one. Now I don't trade this on the short side. I'm not a big gold silver trader, but when I can see a run up, I'll jump into GLD and I'll take it. Same with the silver SLB, and I'll take it. Okay, so here on the upside, we're watching today's high, looking at the 42.15 level, and then we're going to come up top of there at 42.50. Now we start cracking above that. Then we're going to be looking right up there at that 43.46 and then 43.98 retest. We get above that, you're going to go to that 45 area. Downside here, I say just watch that 8-day, very, very key. That 21-day, very key. Now, if we lose that, then we can come over to the top of that candle at that 40.35 level. And then we can come all the way down here to that 50-day at 39.61 and 39.01. Now, this is only sitting here at 58, so we just that's not overbought or oversold, and green is over your red. It shows that we had the momentum to the upside. But let's just see if these simple moving averages hold that 8-day and that 21 SMA. Now, if they do hold, and we come down here and it holds that area, I might jump in that GLD again and maybe take it right back up, at least to this level here, if not maybe to a retest here. Well, let's just give this a little time here, like on a Friday. All right. Now, silver, well, okay, we almost touched that 70. But now you're sitting at 62. Okay, the green is over your red, so it shows that good momentum. And this was a really, really nice trade. But you can see how it went right into that resistance. And then it popped up here and it kind of say, okay, this is going to break out to that 55 level, which I thought it was going to go to that 55 level. It came pretty close, but didn't quite hit it. And then it came right on down. And now we have here what blow. So this is the key level right there. It's 53.76 on a closing basis. That's the key, closing basis, not this pop and drop ski. We want to be on a closing basis. You got to get above that 53.76. Then we hit that 54.41. Then you hit go to 55. But right now here, you can see here, we just have this sideways action. All right. So what do we have here today? We have the low 52.03 level. Your next support is going to be 51.13. And then we have 50.76. And we're looking for the 8-day at 50.37 and that 21-day at 49.11. Okay. So you got good support. Now, again, if this comes down and holds that 8-day, that could be a good trade right back up again. Okay, so a lot of times when you have these cups like this, sometimes you make that handle and then she breaks out of that and then she rips higher. So you got to be patient. You got to let this shake out a little while. That's the key is. But again, if it holds that 8-day or even that 21-day on a closing basis and it holds that, that could be a good opportunity to take this bad boy long. Okay, let's take a look here at crude oil. All right, here we have crude oil. Okay, we have a downtrending chart, as you can see. Now you can see here how it's it's working like a circus monkey here. Now, there's a big thing here. What the traders are looking at. It's either going to be you have a glut going on in oil, but we also have the tariff situation going on. Okay, so T-Man, he put a tariffs on two largest oil companies there in Russia. So, you know, it's kind of like a sideways action kind of a situation. Okay, so that's pretty much what we have. So it isn't like it's going to sink off. If we didn't have the tariffs, I think, believe me, with the supply issue, I think we'd not only touch at 55, but we'd also be down here at 55.12 level. Okay, but right now that's not what we have. So you have to trade what's in front of you. Right. So the key level here, obviously, is you can look at this 50 SMA. So you went right into it, couldn't do it. Into it, couldn't do it. Now we're going to be probably maybe trying this again. So that's 50-day is everything. Okay. So 61.15, you got to get above it. Then we'll come up top of that candle, 61.28 level. Okay. Then we're going to be looking here for that 62.59. And then we have the 100-day at 63.27. 64.62 is your 200-day. And then we have the big retest up there at 66.42. Okay. So that is your upside action. But really, got to close above that 50-day. Not pop and drop, close. Then we can go higher. Now, we're sitting right here. You can see where we popped up, but we're sitting right here into the resistance, 59.81, okay, and 59.63. That's your 8-day, and that is your 21-day. That's going to be very, very key on a closing basis. You want to close at that, then we can hit that 50-day. Now, on the downside here, what we're going to be watching the bottom of that candle, looking at that 58.83 level. Then we come down here, we're looking at 58.12. Then we can just venture right onto these candles here at 57.34, 56.35, and retest 55.96, and then the big boy down here at 55.12. But right now here, we just have this descending situation. High, lower high, lower high. The 50-day, you can see, is just everything, okay? You got to get and close back above that, and then you can hit these other targets, okay? So how I trade this a lot of times is I was short, and then I trade the long on the long side, okay? But right now, we're just kind of stuck in the middle here, okay? So if we close above that 50-day, I'll be all out of the short, and I'll be just strictly long till we hit that next target, possible next target, possible next target. Now, if we can't get through this, we have this sideways action here, and we could drop down all the way down back onto that 55.96. Now, we're not here. We're not overbought, oversold. The green is here is going sideways. So basically, this is not like a long. This is not like a short. This is just a trade. That's all it is for me. Okay, let's take a look here now at natural gas. All right, here we have natural gas, your daily and your weekly chart. Okay, so you can see here how we got yesterday. We had this like an indecision candle, but we made this high of 4.68. Today we have an inside day. Your high and lows in the middle of the other day's high and low. Okay, so bottom line here, what we're looking for is this 8-day is going to be key. Okay, it has to hold that 8-day on a closing basis. Let me see if I pick that up a little bit there for you. Yeah, okay. So this 8-day is everything. Okay, so again, if we start losing that 8-day, then this is going to be your next support level right here at that 4.27. Okay, then we can do is we just come right down here. You have that 418 level. Okay, then one level at a time. Then you have that 408 level. Then we come down here. You got that 401, and then we're going to be looking right here for that 393, And then what we have is we have that 375, and you can work it down here to your, your 358 level, and then come right down here to your 200-day and your 50-day simple moving average. Okay, but right now you can see here when that price gets above that 8-day, it's sideways to up action, and it's basically, for me, this is just a really good, just a trade. I'm just trading UNG. Okay, I'm not even trading the KOLD or anything on the short side. I'm just in this time period. I'm just looking for on the long side, just basically scalps. Now, if we get above this key level here, this 4.68, this is going to be your target right up here, 4.90. Okay, so when we look at the weekly chart here, you can see here, this is that 4.90. Okay, you have to get and close above that. Now, if you can, you have a lot of very, very good targets going all the way up here. Okay, so looking up there, see you got that 536. Okay, that would be your next, and then we come right to the bottom there. Okay, you're looking at 572 level, and then we work yourself all the way up here, 627, and then we bring that price channel across here. You're looking at a 710 level, and we come right up there. You're looking at that 760 level, okay, which is very attainable if you can crack above that 490. All right, but right now you can see here, see how the sideways action we're going, okay, and what that does, that just builds energy, Then when you get into this time frame, okay, then it can break to the downside too, don't get me wrong, but this is this breaking to the upside. So right there is what you're looking for, is that 490. That's going to be very, very key, okay, on the upside. Now, right now we just have, it looks like it's just like a melt up situation. Okay, so basically, now it's not going to go directly to 490. Okay, like yesterday we went up to 468. Well, then you can go to that 475 level, 480, 485. But eventually you can hit that 490 if it keeps right on running. And then we have to see what the reaction is once you get there. Does it crack above and hit to that 5 level and keep right on rolling, or does a double top and then come right on down situation? Okay, so on the upside here, what we're trading against today is yesterday's candle. 4.68 on the high side, 4.45 on the downside. If we lose it, just watch that 4.44. That is your 8-day. It needs to hold that on a closing basis. We crack above it, you're going to work yourself right up here to that 490 level. Okay, that's what I got for you. I'll be back here in midday trading. We'll take a look here at some stocks. Right now, we have an all red market. NASDAQ now is down 306 kind of level. Bitcoin selling off. Everything is kind of selling off here. But again, remember, this is a lot to do with tax selling, okay? Tax selling, you got the government open now, you got the tax selling here, but this ends, and then we're going to get ourselves a nice Santa Claus rally. So look for opportunity. We've had a huge run up in these markets, okay? Look for a nice opportunity here to go long. Now remember, Netflix is going to be splitting on the 17th. You're looking for 10 to 1. I trade TQQs. You're sitting right down at 100 there. That's going to go for 2 for 1. So that's going to come down nicely. So just look for opportunity here. Maybe not today, but just line up with what you really want to buy. Instead of paying up, we buy on the cheap. All right, trade what's in front of you, not what you want.